Hi there, and welcome to Feminine Fridays with Kayla. So I've gotten some questions about how we can track our menstrual cycles, and this is a really fundamental and important part of being a woman and going through the seasons of womanhood and knowing kind of where we are on a daily, monthly, and yearly basis. So after today's video, you'll know how to track your menstrual cycle, and you'll have a few resources for how you can start to do that. If you find this video helpful, be sure to click subscribe and the bell in the corner so you'll find out when I make more videos just like this one. Step 1 in tracking our menstrual cycle is find a calendar or app that you like for tracking your menstrual cycle. Some women like keeping that on paper, some people keep that in an app. For me and myself, I like keeping it in an app because I can save years of my cycle history in a very space efficient way. So for me, that's helpful because I can track cycles from 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago. I can pull it up, take a look at what was going on then, compare it to now. Also, if women are trying to get pregnant, this can be helpful in seeing what their cycle has looked like, when they could be ovulating, and helping predict ovulation so they can get pregnant. I prefer the app called Kindara or Samsung Health, and there's a few other ones like Clue and Flow that people use for tracking their menstrual cycle. And they often have other things that you can track along with that, not just your menstrual cycle, which I really like. So step 2 is you want to log the number of days of bleeding. You want to log the number of days of bleeding, cervical mucus, and basal body temperature, and cyclical monthly symptoms. That means things like PMS, bloating, cramps, bowel movements. Some of that all changes with our menstrual cycle. And so keeping that in mind, that if you log them, you can see if it's a pattern that corresponds with your hormone patterns on a monthly basis. And number 3 is tracking our sexy time. And this is important because we might need to know if we're pregnant. We need to know if we want to get pregnant, when we got pregnant, what was that day, so that can help with how long the baby is. Or if we want to prevent pregnancy, we have a window of time that we need to use protection or be a little bit more careful or be abstinent. So those are all things to keep in mind that can help when you're tracking your menstrual cycle. Number 4, when you have started tracking these, day 1 of bleeding is day 1 of your menstrual cycle. That was something I didn't know. And so keeping that in mind, that day 1 of seeing blood, that's day 1 of your cycle. And then you have 28 days. It's not just 7 days of bleeding. So that's why when you keep it on a calendar, you're actually looking at the time between bleeding, but there's all of these days that have things going on in between. If you want to learn more about the 4 phases of our menstrual cycle, I'll link the videos I have up here about them. But that is something that we do want to consider when we're keeping track of it, is that it's not just looking at when we have our period, it's all of these other things that could be connected with it. So I hope this video was helpful in you learning how to start tracking your menstrual cycle. I've linked some of the apps that I talked about below, so you can download them if you'd like to start using them. And of course, some paper calendars for those who'd like to order a paper calendar. So I hope this was helpful again, and until next time, be well.